All right, well, hey everyone. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Party Chat podcast. I'm here as always with my co-hosts Peyton and Brent. We're going to talk this week about Ladybird and F sharp A sharp infinity. But before we get into that, how has your guys' week's been?
Busy.
Busy, dude. Same.
I've got a lot of life shit going on right now, man.
Life sucks, dude.
It's not all bad. It's just I'm moving jobs.
It's just a hustle.
I'm moving apartments, moving everything. Everything's busy, but not all bad. It's just
Heard you
it's
got
hectic.
told me you got a new job.
I did get a new job. I'm going to be employed at a new place.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah, I know it's crazy how I just go and do things to get money.
Like, especially in this job market.
Yeah, no, I'm incredibly fortunate right now, and
Yeah.
I may or may not have gotten emotional when I got the phone call. So
But yeah, Peyton, I wish I had the drive you do. I have so many plans that would make money, but I don't have the courage or drive to enact upon them.
I had one I'll give you for free. I had a plan this week. I'll let you take from me, and I won't sue you for it. I promise. Okay, did you hear me out? Square pie crusts. Because I
That's
had like
terrible.
I had like
terrible.
hey no, I had like a legitimate like meltdown about it this week because I was like, why don't they exist?
You need to
Yeah.
talk more about this. Like, explain.
Name one time in your life you've seen a square pie crust or like a rectangular, anything other than a circle pie crust.
But what would I want it?
Yeah.
Because squares take up more space than circles most of the time.
Yeah. But like, imagine like a square pizza. Yeah, square pizza is not very efficient. And imagine that as a pie with all like the toppings.
Square
like, stuff
pizzas
filling
are
out.
infinitely more efficient because they fit in the box.
Yeah, but if
can
that was a
put
pie, it
The
would just
circle
like
pizza
fall
fits just
out.
fine in the box.
But there's those four corners of unused space in the box.
Yeah, but that's harder to get out.
You could use like a little pie crust thing. You know how they like the little like the cake cutter, like the pie holder. It's kind of like curved. You stick it in there and you lift it out. Have you never seen like a deep dish pizza ad on TV? Use one of those things. So someone's never been to the Papa's Pizza buffet, and it really shows.
There's
This is
just
a
no
bad
point
idea,
to
babe.
square pie crust.
It's gonna catch up. Okay, you know what? I'll keep my $1 million idea to myself. I'll profit.
But like, what are the
and you
benefits
guys-
to it?
It's a square pie. I don't know what you want me to. I'm selling it to you right now. I
You're
don't
just
know what
selling
more
it
you
off the
want.
novelty.
It's more efficient, and I don't care to elaborate any further than that. So stop pressing me on it.
They don't really make square like
The gimmick is you
pie
don't ask
pins.
questions. You don't ask questions. Just consume.
Well, the whole point of a pie is that you put like the dish you put it in is round. You know, you can't really make a
Why?
pie.
That's
in it.
so stupid.
You just can't do it. It's just impossible.
I said, well,
Why
There's
is
no
it?
point, though,
See,
'cause it's
you're
like-
the
here's
reason
the
they
thing.
don't exist. Both of you
They-
are the reason this doesn't exist.
they make brownies in like squares, right?
Yeah.
But there's no point to being a circle. It could easily be a circle. There's no point for
There's no
something to be
circle
a
brownies
to be a-
either.
There's no point for something to be a circle be a square.
Yeah. See, why is pie? Why does pie have to be the round one?
Brownie would not work in a circular format.
I
Let's
agree.
just be honest.
And I think pie would be improved if it was not in a circular form too.
Cake wouldn't work in a circular form. Wait.
Yes, it does. What do you mean?
Wait. Wait. There are circular cakes.
Most cakes are circular cakes.
Okay,
Some
to be fair,
cakes are circular.
they're harder to
yes.
cut. They are harder to cut. Because it's like, oh,
A
you gotta get
circle
that.
cake.
Yeah, no, you gotta get that perfect little wedge. But with like a rectangular cake, you
wedge.
just get a little square. You just go boop.
Ah,
What do you mean,
here's
right?
the
No,
argument.
you just cut it
babe.
like long ways, both sides, and then you cut that like into smaller slices between those,
Here's
like, first two that you make.
I've never seen anybody do that. That's
Here-
that's
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 how you cut
fucking
pizza.
lunacy.
What do you
That's
mean?
lunacy.
Peyton,
Nobody
That's
cuts a
literally how
cake
you
like
cut
a
pizza.
pizza.
Peyton,
They don't do that with cakes though.
They should make like a
Hey.
giant ass like pizza cutter, but for cake.
Yeah, no, I'm
You-
imagining that right now in my head. Like
That's your $1 million
like
idea, Peyton. That's your $1 million idea.
so I double down on the circle thing instead, And I just sell like a gigantic pizza cutter to cut cake. Okay, yeah, no, I
Exactly.
see
So
what
Peyton,
but no, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's how I can play both sides and come out on top. I do both at the same time. So like I'm selling like weapons to both sides. So I'm like fueling the square industry, but single-handedly, like kind of playing the circle industry too. So like I'm playing both sides of the war. I'm a political action committee, and like I'm lobbying both parties right now.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah,
win-win
there you
for
go.
everybody.
Shout out Dr. Chris Baxter at UTM for teaching me about political action committees in my entry-level political science class that I took.
I love lobbying.
Brent, you look like a lobbyist.
Don't ever tell me that, Peyton.
You exude lobbyist.
No.
No.
Here's why
Don't
you're
lobby,
here's
babe.
why
You're so sexy.
here's why pizza pie. This is why pies are in a circular. So you can grab onto the crust. If it was square, you'd have like bits where you
You
have to
eat
just grab.
pie like you would a slice of pizza?
Yeah, what the fuck are you on
Are you a
That's how
fucking
you.
psychopath?
That's how you.
No, it's that. No, that is.
that? What the
You
fuck?
eat pie like a piece of pizza? What kind of psychopath are you? Oh my god! Brett's a fucking nut job.
That's what you do it. That's how you
What the
do
fuck are you
it.
talking about?
That's how you eat freaking pie.
No, you eat pie with a fork like a goddamn
put your-
civilized person.
What are you about?
You pie with your hands. Have you never had like? Do you eat like a piece of like loose chocolate chess pie and it's flowing over the side with your bare hands, like a cave person?
It just feels so natural.
No, okay. Here's why I'm so passionate about this. Because one time my mom scolded me in a Higgs in Milan, Tennessee, for doing the same thing.
Why?
Because I picked up a piece of chocolate chess pie, like a piece of pizza, and took a bite out of it. And my mom looked me dead in the eye and said,
I've
"You
never
never do that
heard-
again."
I've never heard of anyone eating pie with their hands.
It makes
No,
it
it
makes
doesn't
sense.
make any fucking sense.
Why
All the
is
shit's
there
supposed to
crust?
spill out all
Why
over your
is there
hands.
crust? The pies I eat are very.
Because like the
very
crunchiness
tight.
complements like the gooiness of the middle.
It sounds like you're eating really dry pies, Brent.
No, there's
what
chocolate.
I'm getting from this.
chocolate. There's chocolate pie.
So you're telling me you sit down at Mallard's.
I haven't had pie in like forever. But like when my grandma makes a chocolate silk pie,
Yeah,
it's
only
really
only
it's
a
really
grandma would
consistent.
tolerate that.
well, it's really consistent.
Dude, my
so-
grandma would slap the shit out of me if I ever did that.
Yeah, my mom.
Why?
My mom
It's
scolded
natural.
me in a Higgs buffet over
But it
eating
makes
it.
so much sense. Like, I don't
No, it
get
doesn't
why
make
that's
any
crazy.
sense.
Okay,
It's
so
like-
eating pie with your bare fucking hands makes sense, but not a square pie. All right, Brent. Okay, no, fine, whatever. Yeah, fine, cool, sure.
So
why
you
not?
you guys are all
Whatever.
obsessed about gooiness and pulp it out. If it's square, it would always do that.
Not if you eat with your fork.
Yeah, but like imagine just the middle part of the pie. Yeah, it would just pop out.
What's your logic here? Why would it
It
pop
would
out?
deflate.
You're
Because
about. But you're an insane person.
you know
Brady,
what?
you're a lunatic.
I'll be honest. I've never taken a physics class based around pie.
Professors
that
in
that,
pie
was, that was an
physics.
upper level class. I never got to it.
Yeah, you have to test into that one. I've heard.
I think it's like calc based physics. Never tried calc based physics.
Can we fire Brent again?
Yeah.
I'm
down.
I'm heated enough to let him go.
Saturday, I went drinking with my dad.
That's always a good idea.
Oh, how was that? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, JD could tell you about that.
well, and initially I was just like, "Hey, Dad, there's a gun show on. I like guns, obviously." So I was like, "Hey, let's go to the gun show." And
Or did you get
He's-
drunk and say, "Let's go to the gun show with your dad"?
no, this was like I heard it on the radio. Like,
Oh, you
through
can
the
like
week.
you can just
This
get a
is
gun
amazing.
with no waiting period too. It's
No, because I asked him, I was like, "Hey, Dad, there's a gun show on in Parsons. Hey, let's go." He was like, "Eh." And I got home. I was like, "Hey, are we going to the gun show Saturday?" He's like, "No, those local gun shows are just ninja swords." So it's okay. Like,
That's
let's just
probably
wait for the
very
big one.
accurate.
Yeah, that's.
It-
As soon as he said that, I burst out laughing because of how true that resonated with me.
That's a very local thing. It's like the people that show up at Celtic Fest with like a bunch of like Narnia replica swords for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out
and,
Celtic Fest.
He had to go to Paris, Tennessee to get his vitamins, his testosterone vitamins, and don't actually do anything. Imagine if they did, though. That'd be wild, but they don't. So we went to Ace's like bar and pizzeria, and I was just, cause he had already drank, because he's like a functioning alcoholic, my dad. And so I was just going to get like water because someone needed to be sober. But he was like, hey, shock top for my boy here. And so I think he was like hoping to get me drunk just to see what I was like. But with my family, like I'm always like very formal, like overly formal.
Yeah.
And so I was just very formal and just but slightly intoxicated. We just sat there in silence. It was very awkward and strange.
I was gonna say if you're anything like Minecraft drunk Brent, it would have been a very fun.
No, that's not my brain. My brain chemistry, like
Speaking
my
about
brain
being
chemistry, like,
awkward with your
changes.
family, we can hop into our movie of the week. It's
Yeah.
Directed by Greta Gerwig. Now this is Brent's recommendation. Or
Yeah,
Brent's pick
'cause
for the week.
Yeah,
I had
because
no
it
idea
took
what
us
this
about
movie was about.
it took us about 30 minutes to figure out it was Lady Bird he was even talking about. So I'm gonna count this as his recommendation.
Yeah. I didn't know what this movie was about at all. I just saw a girl with like dyed hair and like
Okay.
a cross in the background. I was like, oh, that looks cool. The font on the title was really cool.
Did either of you guys watch Little Women?
No,
Okay,
Wait.
I watched like half of it.
is that
Halfway.
the?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
fell asleep.
about the black maids?
No, that's The Help.
I haven't watched Little Women.
Speaking of pies,
No,
I think you're thinking of Hidden Figures, maybe.
no, I don't like that movie. I haven't
Like The
watched that
Help?
movie. I know about Hidden Figures though. I don't know why. I said I don't like it.
I know
haven't
about Hidden
watched it.
Figures.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to start with thoughts on Lady Bird?
You guys
I
can go
kinda-
first. I've seen this before, so I'll kind of sit back and let you guys. I wanna
Oh,
hear
you'd
your
already seen
thoughts.
it before?
Yeah, no, I like Lady Bird. I've seen it before.
I didn't realize you'd seen it before.
I had also seen Lady Bird before.
Oh, I didn't realize you'd seen it before.
I've seen it twice, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this movie. And as soon as I realized it was about a high school girl, I wanted to strangle myself. I was like, oh, this is a bad idea.
So you
A
didn't
high
like
school movie. No, I have really weird feelings. This movie made me feel really weird. I really can't describe the way this movie made me. I genuinely hated it at some points, but I was just kind of like pissed off. Mostly, I just wanted to strangle myself at some points. I don't know why really. Overall, I really liked the movie though. It just took like I had to get settled in, you know.
It was a bit of like a shock for you at first because you were just expecting one thing and then you're like, oh, it's this.
Yeah, I thought
And like
I
an
thought she
adjustment
was
period.
like I genuinely thought that the high school bits were just gonna be a month. For some reason, I thought she would like. I think the description of the movie was like a nurse works to help you. I thought it was going to be her going through like high school or whatever as a montage at the beginning, and then she's a nurse.
Yeah.
But it's just a coming of age story.
really
That's
well
really
written
dead simple what it is. Yeah, it's very well written. That's something I wanted to point out. That movie is very well written. The
Mhm.
dialogue, one of the things that made me want to strangle myself is the dialogue didn't, like when it's Lady Bird talking, it didn't really feel natural. And when it's her and her mom, it felt completely
Really,
natural.
I always felt like it was natural. Like
Well,
the
I felt-
conversations flowed really well, and that they it felt like people talking and not like a movie script.
See,
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes it really felt.
I think that's intentional to a certain point.
Yeah, it's
because-
totally in her character.
Yeah, because it seems unintentional because that's not who she is when she talks like that. Because a good chunk of the movie is her just trying shit out, just trying to figure out who she is.
Yeah.
And I do think that is pretty accurate because, I mean, not everybody, but I think a good chunk of high schoolers just try to float around to different things while they're in high school and pick different hobbies and different kind of people they want to
Yeah.
be. And so it's like you're just trying shit on for size. It's like, what am I going to be obsessed with this week? Like,
Mhm.
what am I going to make my whole personality like and
Yeah,
go to class
and
and
how a
talk
lot of
about
like people will also change personalities to try to fit in. to shit
Yeah,
that, like,
no, that
they're
was
not really a part of or that they don't necessarily identify with.
but I think one of the main reasons the dialogue and specifically with Lady Bird and her mom was so effective, and I guess just for the whole movie, is because you could tell it was like written by women
Yeah,
Oh.
and directed by Greta Gerwig, so it didn't feel like a man trying to talk like how he thinks.
yeah. Try to talk
a
about
teenage
the
girl-
experiences of a teenage girl.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, no, this was actually somebody who went through it,
Yeah,
and they kind of have an idea of what they're talking about.
exactly. Yeah,
Even though I am not a girl, but like I get I related to like
Yeah.
the mother daughter aspect of it.
It
Like
is
that's
still-
a very accurate depiction of like a maternal relationship.
it is still
a
very
teen.
yeah. At the end of the day, it is a relationship about kids and their parents and how their relationships will shape you as you grow
Mhm.
up, and how kind of realize in the future that like all these things in the past maybe that we didn't get along or that we didn't see eye to eye. It was all good because in the grand scheme of things, it helped me grow, and my parents always meant well.
Yeah. Mhm. But I really like this movie. It's the only Greta Gerwig movie I've seen. But which other than that
Yeah,
half
which
of
he's only done two.
Little
Or
Women,
directed
yeah.
two. Yeah.
But I liked the vibe of the movie. I didn't realize until like a little ways in, I was like, oh, this takes place in like the early 2000s, and that was really
Yeah.
You didn't realize that took place in 2002?
well, like a couple minutes in, and then I was like, what? I had to ask Jen. I was like, what year does this take place? Because she watched it before I did. She's like, it's like 2002, 2003. I'm like, oh, that's a weird time to pick, but I don't think it necessarily like it didn't dominate the story. Like it wasn't like a period piece by any means, but it's an
I was
interesting, like,
actually I was actually thinking this movie was a period piece.
really.
This
'Cause
movie's so 2002.
I think with like the fashion and stuff like that and the way it's filmed and
Well,
like
just
the,
like
the color
the-
grading.
Well, also just the like footage of America invading Iraq.
Yeah,
That's
well
a
that,
big
but
thing over the film. The
but, like-
9/11 remembrance in the background.
but it wasn't like, I guess what I'm saying, it wasn't like Stranger Things levels of like remember the 80s, like
Well, yeah, but
but-
it felt very of its like anachronistic
Yeah,
to
it-
2002.
I guess the period didn't feel like a character in the movie. It was just like, like an interesting color to it. But I think that's a really cool, like, I guess it's more far away than we thought it was, because it's like, really, somebody's making like a movie that took place in like 2002 already, but it's like, yeah, we're like in 2020 right now, which just came out.
Because I'm
what,
pretty
like,
sure this for Greta Gerwig is at least semi-autobiographical.
That's what it
Yeah.
felt like, kind of.
Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that she would set it during the time that she was around that age. To get the aesthetic, I guess, to herself as possible.
But there's a lot of 2000. The book Kyle was reading was A People's History of America by Howard Zinn, which I think came out in 2002 or 2001. That's a book I want to read someday, but I never bothered to.
Yeah.
Can we talk about? Can we start a book club and read a People's History by Howard Zinn? A People's History of America by Howard Zinn.
do not have
Genuinely.
the
Yeah,
attention
man.
span for that.
You start without me. I'll catch up.
Well, it's a book from the perspective of the working class person in America instead of the elite in America. So it covers the Native Americans when Columbus was there instead of Columbus, and the little guy instead of the big guy that normal history books tend to focus on. It's also very socialist. So I've heard. I've only read reviews. There's a lot of really good books by like these crackpot conservative authors that are like debunking the evil of Howard Zinn,
Well,
and it's
that
like
was,
Howard Zinn with like a red monochrome like filter over him.
that time, that period in America is where a lot of those books started to like pop up, because you had like Glenn Beck writing books, Bill O'Reilly,
Yeah.
people like Alex Jones starting to come onto the scene and stuff. But,
Well, it's kind of a leftist version of like Bill O'Reilly stuff.
oh,
But well, it makes it's generally it's probably something I want to read, because a lot of the topics it covers don't really get a lot of light in like historical curriculum. A lot of conservatives like think that Howard Zinn is the devil because his book shone a light on like a lot of the negative aspects of American culture in history, American history.
so
And,
I that was probably an obvious thing in the movie to, because that was when post 9/11 angst was starting to rise. Like, we weren't quite at like Green Day's American Idiot levels of hating George Bush, but the invasion of Iraq was starting, so we were beginning to get there. So I'm sure that was when a big kind of new wave of uh, not the new left was starting to begin in America, and that was a very influential, like, that you could tell that had a profound impact on like that kind of generation. And I guess people like Greta Gerwig and why they make movies kind of in that same vein now, you can tell they were clearly influenced by those times and growing up in a really weird time for America, because like I sure as hell can't remember any of that. Like, I mean, the earliest back I can remember like about Middle Eastern shit was like I remember seeing Saddam Hussein dying when I was a kid. That's about it. But like I don't remember like invasion of Iraq or anything like that. That was like just I was born into it, so that's like all I knew. I was like, yeah, we're in Iraq. We've always been in Iraq, but it's like, oh, we weren't. But
yeah, Saddam Hussein was a pretty cool dude.
we need to edit that and just put like Hitler over it or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's so much worse.
Yeah. Mussolini was a pretty tight guy.
Hitler was genuinely a lot worse than Hussein. Hussein, he wasn't that bad.
So
But
I lured Brent into a Hitler trap. That's on me, JD. I take full responsibility for that. But JD, me and you, I've never really heard your opinions on this movie before. Like, where
On
do you?
Lady
Like,
Bird?
yeah, we've never talked about Lady Bird. I don't think.
I really like Lady Bird.
Yeah.
I never see, but what I love about it the most is that there's nothing really that like spectacular about it. You know, the way that it tells the
Yeah.
story and the way that it's written, it's very grounded in reality.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
just stuff that has happened to everybody.
Yeah, there's no like
Yeah.
big moment. There's no big like dramatic scene.
Yeah, I thought like she would get pregnant or kill somebody or get arrested or something.
But no, she's just like, I want to go to college here, and she's
Yeah, it's
That's
just
it.
people living their life.
Yeah,
And credit to the writers and Gerwig for making that very interesting.
yeah. It's just a year in this person's life.
And,
Starts in the
boy-
summer.
my boy Timmy T. I enjoyed Timmy T in this movie. He's a douchebag, but I love him.
Yeah, I made that like my character is very reflective on myself somewhat. This is the
You relate to Timothy Chalamet.
I did.
Yeah.
Really,
Brent's
Yeah.
Brent's
Timothy
kind of
Chalamet.
I
well. Brent thinks really highly of himself.
Oh yeah, it's not surprising.
I thought this movie related a lot of my bad qualities to me. Like this movie is relatable in all the worst ways.
I think, but that's like intentional. I think for everyone.
is.
'cause I think everyone can look at this movie and be like, "Oh, I remember that time I was a dick."
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but there's some stuff going on deep inside of me. You know, that
Brent,
this movie kind of shone a light on.
do you need to talk, bud?
Yeah.
Do we need? Are we gonna turn this into like a deep, like genuine reflection episode?
Oh no.
I was
I need like
thinking
5
about
more
that.
beers for that.
Yeah, the Party Chat podcast goes to therapy.
I was thinking
What does it
about
sound like?
that
What is it? An Always Sunny episode?
yesterday.
We get analyzed. Brent's been living with a frog kid upstate.
This movie just kind of made me jealous. I think that's what this movie made me feel: jealousy, longing. Oh,
To
my
like
phone.
just kind of like break free, go somewhere with culture.
No, I just wanted to get yelled at. How? But
You-
also, she
hold
has.
on, no. I'm not. Yeah, I'm, I'm not moving on from that one. You want to like who do you want to be yelled at by in Lady Bird? Like the mom? You like want to be degraded by the mom from Lady Bird?
Like, yeah,
Okay.
like just someone. I don't know.
Did your
It's
parents ever
always
yell
nice.
at you?
No, not in the past decade. Be nice to someone slap me in the face and tell me what to do. I'm not even kidding. Just
No, we know. Yeah.
But also, she has like goals and like an objective that she wants to fulfill.
So it's like that, and she gets yelled at and degraded. So you just really wish you were Lady Bird.
Yeah,
Okay.
this movie just made me jealous. I'm not even. I don't know. I'm not even joking. I don't know. This movie made me jealous.
Didn't you guys just hear that?
That weird little yip.
Yeah, it sounded like Mickey Mouse.
I think that was Peyton.
No, that was not me.
Did you hear that too, Peyton?
No.
It was you.
What the
That
fuck? Yeah, it was
No, I
definitely
didn't
you.
do anything. I didn't know what you guys are talking about.
It sounded like half of Mickey Mouse's laugh.
it was. Like, it
That
like
was
that.
not me.
It was you. You just don't realize that it was.
Yeah, the spirit of Mickey like possessed me for a split second. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Moving back to like on her dialogue, like the way she talked, I really hated it at first, and that slowly dawned on me that that's how I talk a lot.
I
And at that
I'm
point,
I'm kind of in the same boat with you there. I'll elaborate after you get done.
I was, I just kind of felt weird about it.
Yeah,
I felt weird about a lot of things in this movie.
I didn't go into this expecting to like it because it just kind of screamed really pretentious to me at first. But
Yeah,
then I got about like 15 minutes in and I realized like how grounded it actually was. And I was like, oh, okay.
there's
Yeah.
still moments in this movie that I felt were a bit too indie, like the freaking acoustic guitar soundtrack.
That was fine.
But
That's
I think
very
it
early
works
2000s.
for the mood they're trying to set, and the whole vibe
Yeah,
the movie goes for.
it doesn't really make me not pissed off at the acoustic guitar soundtrack though. The piano was nice, but
And I saw the trailers and I saw the way like she talked and I'm like, oh, that looks so irritating. But I realized that's almost kind of the point a little bit. It's because it's not like you're supposed to be 100% okay with everything she says. It's just kind of like, look at
yeah,
what
no.
she's doing. It's like, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I gradually started to be like more on board with the movie and where it was going. And I was like, oh, I understand what this is.
That's exactly how I talk in a lot of like awkward social situations, especially in high school, where it's just like random like bursts of words,
Mhm.
and unformed ideas rendered somewhat poetically. Pisses me off.
So this movie was just a call out post for you, Brent.
It really,
Fuming while watching this movie.
I really was. But it myself, it was so weird.
Brent was like, I am Lady Bird.
I am become Lady Bird.
Can we put Brent over like Saoirse Ronan in the thumbnail and call it Lady Brent?
Yeah. I like the Mother Superior in this movie.
The mom.
The head nun.
Oh,
Do
she
I
was
want to
nice.
hear the reasons why?
She was a nice lady.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I was expecting something
I-
wild, but I'm glad
But
it's
she
just
was-
like she's a nice lady.
The
Yeah,
nun,
I was
the
expecting
head
the
nun
worst.
The head nun was a nice lady. I like the gay guy.
Oh, her first
I liked his
boyfriend?
character too. Yeah,
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 it
his-
was
his puka shell necklace.
very relatable. This movie really is about how capitalism destroys happiness.
Like with college and financial aid.
Yeah, like all she wanted to do was like go to college, but her family was suffering financially because of just things out of their control that have to do with capitalist markets, and then they just kind of suffered. And then there's the class divide, like the class struggle of the poor girl trying to fit in with the richies,
Yeah, that was a pretty big
Yeah,
part.
how she's kind of ashamed of her own house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Hmm.
I really liked that plot point, and I liked
Yeah.
that they blew it up pretty quickly. Because I was like, oh, please don't make that the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
But they were just like, instantly, she was like, yeah, that wasn't my house. I
Yeah.
lied. That's so embarrassing, but that's probably something I would have done. So I'm kind of with Brent on that. I'm like, fuck.
And then the vapid
High
rich
school.
girl is just like, oh, I really like I really value honesty. That's the least thing I didn't expect that to come out of her mouth.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
See, man,
But-
everyone's got layers.
This movie does have a lot of funny moments in it.
Yeah, that was another thing. I was genuinely surprised by like how well executed like the humor was. Like this is a very like I could turn on this movie like I could probably watch this like a lot. I see this being a
Yeah.
movie that's really rewatchable. Like just an easy like throw on feel good movie, but with actual like layers and depth to it.
Like the JB playwright guy, like the guy who had took over the after the other guy had like his depressive episode, he took over the the junior varsity coach took over the
The play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Theater, yeah. That was funny, yeah.
That was a good, yeah, that was a really good one. There's a lot of good. I like this movie a lot, but it's very. It really points. It really makes my mind all muddled.
But
All right.
so you guys have any final thoughts on Lady Bird? Sorry, I'm really anxious
Uh,
because JD said he had opinions at the beginning of the episode, and now I think they are about.
Nah, I was just
Godspeed.
lying.
Oh,
I was just stirring the pot a little bit.
oh, you were.
I wish I had
I was like,
opinions.
I want to hear his hot takes. But you're just being deceptive. You're being a liar. And you know what? I have a little less respect for you now, but that's okay. We're all still friends.
Maybe it could still be lying.
You can't do that to me, man. You fuck with
Who
my
knows?
head.
Anyway, so yeah, any final thoughts?
Oh, I like how a lot of people like if you were here and you made it like if you took this movie and you made it take place in like here in Tennessee or bumfuck Virginia, a lot of people would be wanting to go to California.
Yes, I thought of that a couple of times while watching it. I'm like, if I was in Sacramento, I'd stay the fuck there. I hear nothing but good things about Sacramento, but I guess that's always. It's not just a teenager thing. It's everybody always has a sense of the grass is always greener somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh definitely.
Because like if I grew up in like New York City or like Los Angeles, I'd want to get away to the polar
Yeah.
opposite of where I was.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone kind of wants what they don't
Oh.
have. I
Uh-huh.
don't think anyone could not relate to this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of designed
Yeah,
to be relatable.
that makes it kind of special too.
Yeah.
Is like there's not a lot of movies where everybody can relate to it at least a little
And I
bit.
think a lot of people can pick different parts of it
Yeah,
and relate to different aspects.
It's not
of it.
Yeah,
universal.
100%.
Yeah, a lot of people take away different things from it, which is really cool.
it's not like Life of Pet. It's not like the Emoji Movie, where like I've been in that situation where my phone act funny. It's more. It's a
My
lot
phone
deeper.
be tripping.
I won't lie. This is totally me when my phone acts funny.
Yeah, like that. It's not
Like-
related.
like-
It's not surface level.
Like Soflo Antonio wrote it.
Yeah, it has
That's
a
an
lot
old
of.
reference.
It's very reflective in its relatableness, I guess. Makes you think about yourself.
I like Lady Bird. That's my final thought. I think it's
I
a
did
very
too.
good
Good
movie.
movie.
Good
Movie good. Yes.
movie, good. Catholicism,
Good, yes.
school, bad.
I think we should make that like our podcast like that's the highest rating we could give a movie. It's just movie good.
I rate this movie
We-
5 Peyton heads out of 4 JD heads.
We either give it a movie good or movie bad, or just simply movie.
Movie. I like that one.
Yeah, we'll give certain things just a movie rating. It was a movie.
I don't know, a
Emoji
couple
Movie was a
movies.
movie.
All right, do we want to get into the album?
Can we shorten the album's title to Fashion?
Why?
Because I thought of it and I thought it was cool. Because it's F sharp, A sharp. Like remove the F, remove the sharp from the F.
Fash.
A sharp infinity in fashion.
Fashionfinity.
Fashion. You don't gotta have.
Fashionity.
We've already
Fashionity.
we've cut out a lot to make this leap, so might as well cut out the infinity as well.
All right, so Payne,
I'm
why
not
did
cutting
you
it out.
recommend this album?
This is. You guys both know this very well. I am not an instrumental album guy
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
any means. It's not that I don't like it. It's just like it's just never been like something I'm particularly drawn to.
Right.
But I had this album recommended to me about a year and a half ago, and I was like, all right, fuck, I'll give it a shot. What do I have to lose? And I did what Brent told me to do with
You won't
was it-
get what you want.
yeah, but like a year and a half ago, and I just laid in my room, AirPods in, completely dark. I also listened to it a lot, like driving home at night.
Yeah.
dark.
That's how I listen to it too. That's an experience.
All right, I listened to
Yeah.
it driving to work at like 9 a.m.
Oh, that's lame.
Because I had no idea what this album was or how it sounded, or I'd never listened to the artist before. So I went in completely blind.
But this one of my main things that kind of held me back from being apprehensive on instrumental music, which is it's not entirely instrumental. There's a couple of voiceovers in it, which I think
Yeah,
are very
a lot of
interesting. And we'll get to
voiceovers.
later.
There's like
And-
two.
But they're very important. But is that I was curious as to how like there would be like a flow and
Yeah.
not like a narrative flow, but like I could like it almost is like a narrative to me. It feels like, but I was like, how on earth are they gonna do that? Like without words, like where am I gonna see like is this going? Because like you kind of came with classical music, but I mean this is like not classical music. It's just like a couple synths and just like I think they're like a
This band
5 or
has like
6 piece
a
band?
million. No, this band has like 12 members.
really.
Yeah,
only seen, like, a
over
few
its
pictures.
lifetime, but
Oh,
I think they're like 7 or something. They're just a bunch of good old white boys from Canada.
Yeah, they are
That's what
Canadian.
that's what they described. I
But-
read their Wikipedia article, so
But this album immediately, right off the bat, sets an atmosphere, like with
Yes.
the voiceover,
extremely
and
atmospheric.
it just instantly kind of pulled me in. Where I was like, okay, I'm along for the ride. And then the voiceover ended, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of worried now. Like, am I gonna like stay in this and stay invested? But it's just very it. The composition did take me like on a journey. Like I was along for the ride. Like funny enough, like my most recent listen I listened to the whole thing in a hot tub, like by myself.
Hmm.
I just went outside, listened to the whole thing, just like eyes shut, and was just immediately sucked back in again. And I just felt like I was along for a very depressing ride, but I did enjoy it. I wish I could write something like this. That even though it had no words, like it was effective, like storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's like
I don't know. I'm just jealous. Like I wish I had that ability to do that.
this album's very peaceful. It's very soothing. So
Yeah, it's like
it's like you're bleeding to death and you know you're about to die.
I use the term bear with me here, but like post-apocalyptic, not like in the sense of like a post-apocalyptic movie, but like all the dramatic shit from the apocalypse already
Yeah.
happened, and now you're just dealing with the aftermath of it.
Yeah, that's I think that's how I described the movie or this album on Snapchat. I was like,
Yeah.
you won't get what you want is very apocalyptic, like everything's falling apart, and then this movie's just like gazing at the rubble.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I keep
and
calling it a movie. This
I
album is gazing at the rubble.
I like this album. I don't love it.
I love it.
I'll say I don't think I'll ever listen to this again.
Really?
it's not something
Not
that like I
not
can.
because I didn't like it, but I just don't see myself listening to it again. I feel like it's a one and done kind of experience for me.
Well, see, I
That makes
can
sense.
understand that to an extent because it's not just a casual like pop it in and drive to it type thing. Like I feel like it's a very like you
not
need to
even that.
set
Like
aside
there are
time.
albums that like I will set aside time for, and kind of listen to all the way through. Like if you listen to Sleep's "Dope Smoker,"
I have not known.
I listen to long albums for like a period of time that have no words in it, but I think with just this, it didn't hit as much as it did for you guys.
Mhm.
I appreciate like the composition a lot, and I really, really like a lot of different parts about it. But other parts, I just kind of drifted off in a way. But that's not even really like a negative, I'd say, because I feel like this album, it's very spiritual in that way. So it puts you in this like
Mhm.
meditative trance experience. So I feel like even
Yeah.
like drifting off isn't necessarily a bad thing.
That's why I very enjoyed the hot tub listen.
Yeah. The album sounds like lowering yourself in the water.
Yeah, like it was a very like I've been doing a little bit more like meditation lately, and this album like has been like a part of that, and not in like a sense of like it's making me depressed, but just more of like a contemplative way. Like it puts me in like a mindset of just like I don't know how to describe it, like a little bit more contemplative than I am.
Calm.
Because yes, sometimes like I meditate for like relaxation, meditate for various other moods, but this is like I just want to think, I want to dig inside myself and like look for things.
Oh yeah, I wrote a
Analyze.
poem while listening to this.
Yeah, we brought out Brent's artistic side of this album.
I wrote a poem.
Do you want to share the poem?
Maybe. I haven't read it in a while because it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
I feel like part of the reason why maybe this album didn't hit as much is because I was driving and because I was just trying to find time to listen to it. I
Yeah.
personally cannot get into music as much as when I'm driving as when I'm just like sitting down and just listening to it, if that makes sense.
I'm almost like the polar opposite, which I can get into music like just sitting down and
Yeah.
listening to it. Like that's
Like,
never a problem. But like
I almost
driving,
wanted to
I
turn
enjoy
this
it.
album off when I was driving because I was like, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to this right now.
Mhm.
I feel like I need to like just sit in my room, either my phone or my laptop with headphones on and just listen to it. Like
This is
no
an-
other distractions, just me and the album.
This is an album I really wish had like a visualizer. Like I would love
There,
to see like a almost like a Pink Floyd's The Wall type thing. for this album.
their concerts have
Yes.
visualizers,
Yeah, I was reading
and
about that too.
their concerts are like free to record. So there's probably a recording somewhere.
Ooh, I might
Yeah.
go hop on that.
They're a bunch of anarchists. These guys. They
And
seem really cool. Anarchy's real cool.
yeah, because a lot of it was I'm sure none of us are very familiar with like the socio-political climate of like Canada in the
I
late
am.
1990s.
Oh,
Which if you are, then, yeah, like go for it. But I mean, a lot of it, just from what I read, was basically the same things that were going on in America to an extent. Just a class divide and how different people looked at poverty. And one of the things I took from it was the monologue in East Hastings about like the preaching monologue, and about like how even in the face of like extreme poverty and almost like metaphorically, of course, like apocalyptic circumstances, although I mean obviously there are some poverty situations where they almost are apocalyptic, for
Yeah.
them, but how people of faith view situations like that. And I see a lot of that today too, like coming from someone who was in a church environment for a long time, and how people who were less fortunate still, how they viewed their poverty through the lens of faith and through religion. And they could think that like even if they live like an extremely impoverished life, they really only consider themselves like truly impoverished if they don't have Jesus or they don't have their faith. And that's a very interesting way to look at it. Not that I agree with it, it's just a very, it's, I'm not gonna dive too deep into that. That's a long fucking conversation, but it was an interesting note that it hit for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I haven't really thought about that. Like, I've seen it, I've been around it my whole life, but that's very like, it's interesting. It makes you think a little bit.
I'm gonna read the poem I wrote. Never mind, it's bad.
You can share it with us after the podcast if you want to.
Yeah, I'll do that maybe.
Mhm.
This album is really good, yeah. I love it. I love moody, atmospheric pieces that like have a narrative. Like I love being immersed into something.
Mhm.
But I think the most interesting thing about this album in relation to this podcast is why Peyton recommended it. So what I did in order to understand how Peyton's mind worked was I listened to the 1975. I didn't get very far. I hate their music.
What did you listen to of theirs?
I just typed in the 1975 and then played a track of theirs, and then if I couldn't tolerate it, I went to the next one. I do not like the bands.
But we
I'm not
could
throwing
recommend
shade.
like anything and be like, but why?
I know. I just thought it was interesting that Peyton, because I know Peyton. I know Peyton's music choice. I know Peyton. I know what he likes.
Only
I
for a
know.
long time.
Yeah, I know like what music Peyton liked. I have like a little chart in my head of how Peyton influenced my music choices and when we branched off and then how we joined together again, branched off again.
Mhm.
And this is such a piece of music that I love.
What he's saying, Peyton, is you like trash music.
Yeah, he's just.
No,
You know
I
what,
just-
Brent? You can fucking die.
I just thought it was interesting that there was this random bit of overlap in our musical choices.
I guess that's the beauty of music taste, anyways, because
Wow, Peyton. I
it's
can't believe you recommended a good album for once.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that to be a dick. Peyton's music choices is on. I don't prefer that music, but that's
Well, I think that's the beauty
It's-
of like how highly like subjective like music is to every person, because like every person can just have like a dramatically different music taste than the other, and that there's a
Yeah.
market for every bit of it. So it's very interesting. But there always will be like random like meeting points on our geographical plane here.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting, like, because you do not like Death Grips,
I'm not a big Death Grips guy.
and
Weird.
I do not like 1975.
Yeah.
And those are like, in terms, I think Death Grips to me is 1975 to you,
Probably. I think that's a pretty good.
but those are so
kind of-
far apart.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. But I did try to listen to 1975. It's not music I enjoy, but it's your cup of tea, so that's fine. I didn't say that to be mean or critical of it. I just thought it was interesting. An interesting perspective to have on this album is the Peyton perspective.
It's a very passive aggressive way of putting it, but I appreciate that, Brent.
Brent's gonna
I approached it
throw
from the
shade
Peyton
in, like,
perspective.
the sneakiest way possible.
I'm not. Peyton can listen to whatever music. I listen to a lot of music. He hates it. He listens to music I don't like so much. It's just the way the world works. I'm sure JD listens to a bunch of garbage too.
And
It's just
there it is.
We need to just have an episode where I send you my Apple Music and we all send each other's Apple Music and we give good or trash ratings to everybody's music. After this episode, I do have another recommendation for you, Brent. I'll save that for not on the episode.
Mhm. Yeah, I really like this album. I love how I don't know. It feels like you're dipping, like you're just lowering yourself into a pool of atomic, of nuclear waste runoff.
But
So the Joker.
Yeah, the Joker.
and you come out and you're Harley Quinn.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So, final thoughts on F sharp, A sharp, Infinity. Brent likes it.
Good.
I already gave it mine.
Probably would be better if I listened to it not in a car driving at 9 a.m. in the morning.
That
If
is
you
true.
listen
And it's
to it,
not a 9 a.m. album.
yeah, if you listen to it at night, I one of the best way I listened to this album was I put it on in the car when my mom was driving to Mallards.
Oh,
At,
this is also, I don't think, an
7.
album that you can pause or listen
No.
to in bits. You can listen to it all in
No.
one way
No.
through.
And I'll be honest, I haven't done that.
This is what you need to do. You either need to be driving or you need to go park in front of an abandoned building that has a street light, but it needs to be one of those orange street lights, not a white street light.
Yeah,
That
has
made
to have
me,
a muddy
shit my
color.
pants.
Yeah,
Are you trying to make me shit my pants?
possibly.
I respect it.
I mean, you shit your pants, I'll shit my pants.
We can all shit our pants.
Dude, we can all shit our pants. But anyway, this was a good episode. I
Was
I
it?
had a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. We're saying bye to everyone right now.